Dear reader, have you ever had a moment so devastating, so utterly shattering, that it felt like your entire world was caving in? Have you ever walked into a room expecting normalcy, only to have your heart wrenched from your chest in a single, breathless instant? This is where we find Blake Lively. She stood frozen in the doorway, her breath shallow, hands trembling. The dim light flickered over the surreal sight before her. Reynolds, the man she loved and trusted the most, her husband and father of her children, was kissing another woman. Only feet away, she saw his lips brush against hers as they held each other in a warm embrace. Blake Lively's heart clenched, and for a moment the world seemed to slow. Betrayal. The word rang in her ears, pounding against her skull. How could he? How could the man who swore to love her, who promised her forever, do this? Yet, dear reader, what if I told you that things were not what they seemed? What if the obvious answer was the wrong one? Have you ever been so sure of something, only to later realize you had it all wrong? What if love, true love, could survive even the most convincing illusion? A crackling fire, the scent of old books and candle wax, the weight of history pressed into the walls of the castle where Blake and Ryan lay sprawled on a thick bear rug, wrapped in a world of their own making. Outside, snow drifted lazily through the night, untouched by time. It was Blake who spoke first, her voice soft but sure. I don't want to kiss anyone else anymore. Not in movies, not anywhere. I know it's acting, but it feels wrong. Ryan studied her, a slow smile creeping onto his lips. You realize this is Hollywood blasphemy, right? She nudged him with her foot. I'm serious. I just want it to be us. Always. No scripts, no staged passion, no just pretend. Ryan's fingers traced lazy patterns on the rug. Then we won't. Never again. And just like that, a promise was made. A dangerous, beautiful, binding promise. But promises, dear reader, are fragile things. And in the months that followed, the cracks began to show. In a dimly lit room, smelling faintly of ink and old coffee, old wise Robert De Niro sat cross-legged, surrounded by tiny paper sculptures. With practiced hands, he folded an origami ham sandwich, examined it, and, without hesitation, took a bite. Ryan sat across from him, watching in awe. How did you just eat that? De Niro chewed thoughtfully, then opened his mouth. Inside, instead of chewed-up paper, rested a pristine origami swan. He plucked it out and handed it to a poor blind child passing by. The child, sensing the delicate folds, smiled. De Niro turned to Ryan. Kid, you want to stop kissing people in movies, yeah? Ryan nodded. Then build yourself a way out of it. A hologram, a robot, an illusion. You got the money, the brains. You want to keep a promise? You fight to keep it. That's what love is. And with that, he resumed folding what appeared to be an origami giraffe, playing a miniature saxophone. Ryan left that night with an idea. A brilliant, insane idea. But ideas, dear reader, are only as strong as the secrets they require. In a sleek private studio, two actresses sat side by side. The blonde one, so eerily similar to Blake Lively that it almost felt intentional, twirled a strand of hair between her fingers, a smirk playing at her lips. Why are you even here? She asked, her tone laced with condescension. This role is mine. I mean, come on, I practically am Blake Lively. Why would they pick someone like you when they can have the real thing? The brunette blinked, stunned into silence. The blonde scoffed and stood, flipping her hair over her shoulder. Good luck, I guess, she said, before strutting off. But luck wasn't needed. The brunette nailed her audition, her heart pounding with excitement when she was told she had landed the part. As she walked through the parking lot, her chest still swelling with pride, she spotted someone standing nearby. blonde hair, the same piercing eyes. Thinking it was the woman who had insulted her earlier, she clenched her fists and approached. "Just because you're hot and blonde doesn't mean that Ryan wants you," she snapped. "He wants me instead." And with that, she turned on her heel and walked away, only to feel guilt creep in seconds later. Maybe she had been too harsh. Maybe she should have just ignored the insult from before. Blake Lively, meanwhile, stood frozen in place, utterly bewildered. "Ryan? What does she mean Ryan wants her?" she whispered to herself. Confusion bloomed inside her, and a deep, unsettling suspicion. As the month went on, Ryan started sneaking away to work on his project. But Blake Lively noticed that he was acting strangely. At first it was small things, late nights in the study, phone calls he took in hushed tones. Then, one evening, Blake asked where he was going. "Meeting with De Niro," Ryan said casually, pulling on his coat. But later that night, Blake curled up on the couch, flipping through channels. And there he was, De Niro, live on stage, in another country. Her stomach twisted. Had Ryan lied to her? Why? Where was he really going? Blake followed her instincts. She drove to the studio, her hands clenched to the steering wheel. Thoughts ran through her head. She had to find out what was going on. As she got to the studio, she saw Ryan through the window. But he was not alone. She saw him speaking in hushed tones to the brunette she had seen in the parking lot. They seemed to be standing very close, and Ryan had a grin on his face. She rushed through the corridors trying to find the room. Trying door after door, eventually she opened the right one and saw her own husband, lips locked on another woman. Tears blurred her vision as she turned and ran, desperate to escape. She didn't stop running until she reached an old house. She ran inside, sobbing before collapsing. An old man sat beside her, meticulously folding small pieces of paper. "Origami cots," Robert De Niro said without looking up. "For orphaned babies." Blake sniffled. "What?" De Niro folded another. "You should ask Ryan what really happened. Might be one of the greatest feats in Hollywood this century." Something in his voice made her pause. Could she have been wrong? Back in the lab, Blake stormed into the room, her voice sharp with accusation. "So this is what you've been sneaking off to do? This is why you've been acting so strange?" Ryan turned, his face pale. "Blake, it's not what you think." "Oh, really?" "Because what I think is that my husband, the man who swore he'd never kiss another woman, has been doing exactly that." Ryan exhaled, stepping forward cautiously. "It's not real." Blake scoffed. "Oh, so now you're going to gaslight me? I saw you." Ryan gestured toward the woman beside him. She flickered for a moment, her form glitching slightly before stabilizing again. Blake's breath hitched. "She's a hologram," Ryan said softly. "I spent months developing this technology, so I wouldn't have to break my promise to you." Blake stared, her mind racing. The betrayal she had felt twisted into something else, something overwhelming, something ridiculous, something profoundly, impossibly romantic. She let out a breathy laugh. "You idiot?" Ryan grinned. "Yeah, but I'm your idiot." Dear reader, how often do we assume the worst? How many times do we let fear cloud our judgment before seeking the truth? Love is fragile, yes, but it is also resilient. And sometimes, trust is the greatest gift we can give. Did you enjoy this story? If so, share it with your loved ones. Maybe it will remind them, remind all of us, to always give the people we love the benefit of the doubt. And hey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this.